Hello and welcome to another video here on my channel. My name is Annette, and in today's video we're going to be going through my poetry book collection. I have quite a few. I have a lot here. I have been reading and really into poetry since like maybe 2019, 2018. So, yeah, we're going to go through all the poetry books I have collected. I am a poetry lover. I also like to write poetry myself. So, yeah, let's get into some of my favorites and some of my greatest inspirations. And we'll also read a little bit of poems here and there. So, where should we start? Where should we start? Okay. So, I'm going to start with one of my favorites, which is Young Pueblo. I have all three of his books here. We have Clarity and Connection. Amazing, amazing. We have The Way Forward. And we have Inward. I think I got one of these as a present. I think my friend got me The Way Forward. So, yes, I love Young Pueblo. He is my current favorite writer, poet. And I think he's my favorite because I don't know what his exactly his background or his degree is, but he talks a lot about things in like a relational way and like kind of like a psychological way in a self-help way is kind of how he writes his poetry, which I really enjoy because I'm like really into psychology and stuff like that. So that's why I really like his work. And these are all great. Like this one is about finding a partner who accepts you through your growth, who will love you, who will embrace you, and where you have like the courage to have like a healthy relationship together. So that's why it's called Clarity and Connection. So let's read a poem from here. Let's see. Okay. He's just so amazing. You do not need a partner to feel whole. You do not need to have everything figured out to feel successful. You do not need to be fully healed to feel peace. You do not need to be fully wise to feel happy. Embracing yourself as you are reinforces your worth and decreases the friction in your mind. I think I just really enjoy him because, like, I'll read one of his poems and it will make me feel better. It like inspires me because it's kind of written in like a self-help way. So that's what I really enjoy. And then there's this one. The back is wisdom. Wisdom is gradual. So basically the wisdom, the way forward, and has like the compass. Let's read a poem from here. Okay, here's a poem. Love can be tough to navigate when the mind is constantly craving more. Craving often blocks us from seeing the incredible person standing right in front of us. Craving also disconnects us from gratitude. Okay. So you see what I mean. Like if you're into kind of like self-help, you'll really enjoy his poetry. So I had to stop recording because my mic died, but I'm back. So the lighting is a little different because the sun is going down. But yes, love Young Pueblo if you're into self-help and all that stuff. And sometimes I just like to randomly like go through his book some days and just like read a poem and it'll just like inspire me and make me feel good for the rest of the day. So definitely I would say he's like inspirational, motivational, and on more on like the self-help side of poetry. And then we have his book Inward. On the back, it says, true power is living the realization that you are your own healer, hero, and leader. This is this one. I love all of them. So I'm going to read one of his poems from his book, Inward. This one is, to be so broken, to have fallen so deeply that the only thing you can do is rise into a new you. Phoenix. That's cute. But yeah, love. I will buy all his books for the rest of my life. Like, please come out with more. I think he's actually coming out with a new book or something. But yeah. All right, and now let's get into the OG poetry girl, Miss Ruby Carr. So I did have her other book too, but I gifted it to my cousin. So I just have two of her books that she's written. I fell in love with poetry because of Ruby Carr. She I remember I got her book, Milk and Honey, back in like 2019, and I just fell in love. I loved how she just really goes there. She puts her heart, her soul, her life on the page, and she's not afraid to bear that and share that with others. So she definitely, I would say, she's more of a writer who will go there. She's a little more intense. She talks about a lot about like things that have happened to her in her love life, in her family, her lineage, her ancestors. So there's a lot that she includes. So she's pretty well rounded. So you get a little bit of everything in her books. So we have the sun and her flowers. And also, I just love like her little illustrations too that she has in her books. I think she draws her own, which is so cool. So the back of this one is, "This is the recipe of life," said my mother, as she held me in her arms as I wept. "Think of those flowers you plant in the garden each year. They will teach you that people too must wilt, fall, root, rise in order to bloom." That's so cute. Okay, let's find another poem from here. Let's see. This one says, "You have so much, but are always hungry for more. Stop looking up at everything you don't have and look around at everything you do, where the satisfaction lives." And she has a little illustration there. That's a good one. That's actually something I need to hear right now because I feel like it's so easy to like look at like life and look at others and compare and think like grass is greener elsewhere. But girl, your grass is green. Water it. Water your own grass, like yeah. And then this is I think her most recent, Homebody. The back says, "After feeling disconnected for so long, my mind and body are finally coming back to each other." Okay, so this is like kind of the theme of this one. And then she writes in this one, "I measure my self-worth by how product she writes, "I measure my self-worth by how productive I've been. But no matter how hard I work, I still feel inadequate. Productive productivity guilt." That's so real. I feel that too. See, relatable. And like I like poetry because it's like that's relatable and it's also just a little reminder that you're not alone. Other people feel the same things, other people go through the same things. And also like reading that, I can relate to it and think to myself, like I should have more grace for myself and my worth is not dependent on my productivity and just anything outside of me. So I just love her. So she's my top fave, Avi. Top fave, Ruby Carr. Top fave, Young Pueblo. So Young Pueblo, Ruby Carr, she kind of in the middle, but she was my first love. She was my first love. Okay, and then we have Jhené Aiko's poetry book, Two Fish. I love Jhené Aiko. She's also one of my first loves when it comes to music. I've been obsessed with her music since high school. I listen to her. I love her music. She's just great. This book, I do like it because she kind of like, she adds in like journal pages, which is so cool because like she just writes in her journal and she put this in here and like that's kind of how I be doing it. Like you write in your journal, probably other writers, like they write in their journal and kind of like the raw, uncut, unedited version is so cool to see. So I really like how she included that in this. And yeah, even like little drawings that she's done in like her journal. I will say I don't pick up this book too much. I feel like it has like a lot of grief in it, a lot of poems about grief, and I kind of just don't want to think about that. Like sometimes poetry books are just a little too on the some poetry books are a little too on the more like sad part of things, and I don't love like a super sad poetry book or like a poetry book that's too sad because I like to open it and kind of feel inspired most of the time. And but also I do like to relate. So yeah, but this one does include a lot of grief and I don't like to think about that. So but the page that I turned to is I need more responsibilities to be more responsible. Is that how it works? Is that possible? Well, it's probably just me being me. I'm always in need. I'm impossible. And that one's 55 fish. And then let's see. This one is 64 fish. I once told a stranger I met, the more that you know me, the more you'll forget. The closer we grow, the stranger I get. He doesn't get it quite yet. Hmm. But yeah, honestly, I need to like reread this one. But I just remember reading it and it being kind of sad. Now we're going to move into my newest poetry book, which is called Serenity, and it is by F.S. Youssef. I also really enjoy his poetry books. I owned another one. I don't have it anymore, but I like how he writes. And also, again, there's like a lightness to the writing. I love like a lightness. Like there's a depth, but there's like a lightness. And that's what I personally enjoy as a reader. Okay, so I turn to this poem. It says, "A love so whole. I do feel incomplete, but that is only with personal goals and copious amounts of self rejection. Your love is not involved. That aspect never lacks at being fulfilled." Okay, and this one is "A bond with light. We gather as the sun slowly disappears, but I know the people I have surrounded myself with will illuminate my surroundings." Aw. The back says, "Come take my hand. The sun is not harsh today, and the night is not as dark. Let us finally fight for who we aspire to be after all these years of letting the hurt tell us who we are." Oh, and it says poems on love and gentleness. See, this is my newest one. I love to like the fish and so good. Love that one. This one, this one I was gifted by my cousin and it's by Christy Steen. I don't know if I've seen like this in Barnes and Noble, so I don't know where she got this, but it's in her light. And the back is really like inspiring and cool. It has like a really big description. It says, this book is exploring the all encompassing journey back to the truest version of the self. These poems find Christy at her most vulnerable and comforting, reaching out a hand to guide you through whatever may be causing you stress, anxiety, or doubt. You will find inspiration and beauty within yourself, deep in the space where your light still shines. Yeah, so it's in her light. So this one has like this one I would also say has like a little bit of a variety from what I've read. But okay, this one is called Growing Pains. I'm a woman, but I sometimes feel like a girl, questioning my place in this big world. I don't always know where I belong. Some days it's quite tough to be certain and strong. My path can seem blurry and often unsure. With many successful people, I can't help but keep score. Everyone appears to have it all figured out. I'm trying to understand what I'm crying about. There's this fear I'm doing it all wrong, like some different path I should follow along. People only show when it's going well. When things are bad, they'd rather not tell. No one spends their life entirely in the sun, so if you're struggling, you're not the only one. Wow. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Oh my god, sorry. I like cry when I read poetry too. But like that was beautiful because I so resonate with that. I feel like lately I've been feeling very like unsure and like comparative. Especially like where I'm at in life. Like I compare myself lately and this was a good reminder. So again, sometimes I just I've been flipping through these pages and I've been landing on poems that really resonate with me like right now. So that's something I love to do with these books. But this one I do really like. I give this one a thumbs up as well. And then these are some poetry books that I don't really pick up as much anymore. This one is Soft Thorns by Bridget Devois. I love like the art though. And the back says the poetry living within these pages tells stories of love and heartbreak, freedom and expression, oppression, sexual assault and sexism, hope and humanity. Our darkest times are where we learn how to heal. So here are some of mine. Yeah, I think this it's because this one is a little bit on the heavier side. It's probably why I don't pick it up as much. I need to walk away from the person you've become because I've already said goodbye to the one I fell in love with. Okay, let's look for another one. We never realize how frozen we are until someone starts to melt our ice. Okay. Oh, I have a little note in here. What? Whoa, I think I wrote a poem and I put it in here. This is a really intense poem that I wrote. That's so weird. Okay. I wrote, maybe once we die and leave this earth behind, all our sins will fade and we'll understand why it took death to have our souls align. What? That is kind of dark, but I kind of like it. But damn, why was I writing that? Okay. Interesting. So I was in a vibe when I bought this. I was in a vibe. Um, and then it's like, I wish we lived in a world where it's safe to keep our hearts unlocked. She does write shorter poems for sure. Honestly, I'd give this one, I'd give her like an 8 out of 10. And I have Empty Bottles Full of Stories by Robert M. Drake. He seems a little heartbroken in this one. Yeah, let's see what the back says. Maybe we feel empty because we leave pieces of ourselves in everything we used to love. Okay. Let's turn to a page. He definitely does a little bit of longer poems. Let me read a shorter one. Okay, he writes, I'm not searching for a love that makes me blind. I want a love that helps me see. I want a love that opens me up to everything I've always wished for. Ooh, this one's intense. You were just an example of everything I learned to avoid. Damn, imagine someone told you that. Imagine. Okay, again, I think I'd give this one a 7 out of 10. I have Pillow Thoughts by Courtney Peppernell. This one I also don't pick up as much anymore. Um, the back says Pillow Thoughts is a collection of poetry and prose about heartbreak, love, and raw emotions. It's divided into sections to read when you feel you need them the most. Make a cup of tea and let yourself feel. Yeah, so this one, she also like talks a lot about like heartbreak. I think I don't know, I guess I haven't been loving reading about heartbreak. I want to read about happy stuff lately, so I think that's why I haven't really picked this one up either. But I do remember really liking it when I got it. Let me read one of her poems. Okay, this one says, but life has a plan for all people, even if those plans separate us from the ones we love. No matter where my life takes me or yours takes you, I will love you whether there are 1,000 miles between us or none at all. Okay, but what is involved in a happily ever after? There are too many versions, not for you to choose, but to create. Okay. And I know you're a little insecure and you think just a little too much. But for all the times you think you're not what someone needs, I'm thinking that you are. Okay. I also give this one like a 8 out of 10. Last book we have Mark Anthony Poet Twin Flames. So I have had an obsession with Twin Flames probably since like 2020. So I've kind of like really into the topic. I'm into twin flames, I'm into soulmates, I'm into red string theory, I'm into quantum entanglement, I'm into past lives. Like I'm into all that, like transcending romance, love, fated destiny kind of vibe. So I think that's why I bought this. I actually just recently found this again. I didn't even know I had it anymore. And I just bought another book from him, okay, I bought another book from him and I emailed them because it has not arrived and still nothing. And it was like $17. So I don't know. I might message him on Instagram because he posts every day and be like, hey, so where's my book? But I do like this one. It's like very just like love poems and like just like this like transcending like love. And so honestly, this is like probably one of my top faves. I've been reading this one probably the most because I'm just such a lover girl and like it's just all like just like love, and I love how he writes about it. Okay, let's see. And if they love you, you will know it by the emotional work they're willing to do in order to stay in love. Okay. And then, okay, this one's like more of a twin flame one. Don't forget that your twin flame is sent by the universe for your soul to grow and face the fears that have kept you incapable of love. Respect the walls she's built to feel safe. And remember, you have your own so that you can bring them down together, patiently, lovingly, and with time. Okay. And the back says, the concept of twin flames is a spiritual belief that originates from ancient philosophies and spiritual traditions. They are said to experience an immediate and intense connection upon meeting, often described as a sense of coming home or profound familiarity. Twin flames are also thought to trigger deep personal growth, transformation in each other, often through challenging, intense experiences. Despite these difficulties, the ultimate goal of the twin flame relationship is said to be reaching a state of spiritual unity and harmony, often described as a union. These poems are about finding yourself in the flames. And I think the one that I bought from him is like called like True Love or something. But that is about everything. So yeah, I will give this one's like in my top as well. So Young Pueblo, I would say it's Young Pueblo and Serenity and the Twin Flames one. That is my favorite right now. And then Rupi Kaur, and then In Her Light, and then the rest. But yes, for watching. If you are a poetry lover and you have like a favorite poetry book, please let me know. I'd love to know your recommendations. I've also been seeing like a lot of like poets on Instagram, and I've been loving their stuff. Like poets who are I don't see in Barnes and Nobles, and I've been loving their stuff. So yes, if you also have written a poetry book, link it down below, girl. I'll take a look. Okay, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed.